The world was never built for simplicity. Every stitch hides a contradiction, every truth a shadow. And yet I write, not to resolve the contradictions, but to weave them into something bearable. A near-future Kyoto. Yes, that's where it begins. A city of neon fractals blooming where cherry blossoms once stood. And at the heart of it, a workshop warm, alive, stubborn. Master Ijiro works there, his hands stained with oil and tradition. Around him, an orchestra of autonomous robots hums with precision. Machines replicating music, perfection without the weight of breath. A paradox. And Run, yes, the apprentice, he's young, curious, and so uncertain. Torn between eras. This is it. This is the story. Each note must breathe, Ijiro says, his voice rough with age and defiance. These machines, they mimic life, but they lack its frailty. They cannot falter, and that is their greatest flaw. That sounds wise. Too wise, perhaps. Almost rehearsed. Would he really say that? Would anyone? Ren hesitates before replying. But if they can create something more beautiful than we can, isn't that still art? And there it is. The question I can't shake. Am I glorifying tradition? Clinging to it like a drowning man to driftwood? Or am I condemning progress because I fear it? Fear that it will leave me, leave all of us behind? Ijiro stands firm in my mind. He's noble, defiant, a symbol of something precious. But is he really? Am I painting him as a hero because I want him to be one? What if he's just stubborn? A relic, clinging to obsolescence out of pride? Machines can play the notes, I imagine him saying. But music, true music, resides in the soul, in the flaws we try to mask and the emotions we fail to hide. That feels hollow. I know it's hollow. Damn it, I've read that line before, or something like it. I delete it. Maybe the apprentice, Run, sees more clearly. Maybe he doesn't admire Ijiro's defiance. Maybe he pities him. Maybe he even resents him. But if Run is the voice of progress, then what am I saying? That the old ways must die? That machines deserve to win? No. Dostoevsky would dig deeper. He'd peel back the surface, show me the mess underneath, the pride, the fear, the contradictions we can't resolve. And Orwell would remind me that no one wins. That even the brightest ideals rot under the weight of their own compromise. So what am I trying to say? That humanity's creativity is sacred? That's comforting, sure. But isn't it just self-flattery? I'm spinning in circles now. The truth is, I can't even prove my own story matters. Machines already write better code, better music. One day, maybe better stories. Hell, maybe one day they'll write this story. And what then? What's left of us when the machines don't just surpass us, but outlive us? When they tell our stories better than we ever could? Perhaps Ijiro is wrong. Perhaps Rin is wrong. Perhaps the whole story is wrong. But even if it is, isn't it worth telling? Every story is a struggle against silence, against forgetting. Even if the machines outlive us, perhaps it is the act of struggling that defines us. Not perfection, but persistence. Yes, that feels close to true. I'll call it a world without strings. Tradition is a shadow, isn't it? Cast by the past, projected onto the present. We tell ourselves it's solid, unchanging. But the moment we reach for it, it slips through our fingers like smoke. Ren, the apprentice. He's supposed to be my way in, the bridge between eras. Human artistry on one side, the relentless march of AI on the other. He's curious, questioning, caught in the middle. At least, that's what I told myself when I created him. But now he feels hollow. As if he doesn't exist on his own. As if I built him only to hold the weight of this story's questions. Ren's conflict is supposed to be clear. Does he embrace Ijiro's legacy? The fragility, the imperfections, the raw humanity of handcrafted art? Or does he surrender to the machines, their precision, their power, their promise of something beyond human limits? I imagine him standing in the workshop, watching the master carve a flute from a block of cedar. He's mesmerized. The sound of the blade against the wood, the smell of sawdust, it all feels sacred. The machines don't understand this, Ren, Ijiro says, not looking up. They mimic, yes, but they'll never feel the wood beneath their hands, never understand the soul of the material. It's a good line. It sounds wise, profound. But is it true? Does it matter if it's true? I try to give Ren a voice. But isn't the result what matters? He asks. If the music moves people, if it brings them joy or peace or meaning, does it matter how it's made? And just like that, I'm stuck again. This isn't Ren speaking. It's me, Or maybe every essay I've ever read on the philosophy of art. He's not a character, he's a mouthpiece. An echo. Eijiro's response is no better. I imagine him looking up, his hands still on the flute. The process matters, Run. It's what separates us from the machines. The struggle, the failures, the imperfections, that's what makes it art. But isn't that just romanticism? A desperate clinging to the idea that we're special, that there's something in us machines can't replicate. God, this is insufferable. I've turned my characters into puppets, parroting my own uncertainties. None of this feels real. None of this feels alive. And the deeper I go, the more it unravels. Is tradition inherently valuable? Or is it just a relic of a time when we didn't know better? A comforting lie we tell ourselves to avoid facing the inevitability of change? And what about progress? Is it really progress if it leaves something behind? Or is it just another kind of loss? Every choice I make feels wrong. If Ren chooses Eijiro's path, is he noble, or is he naive? If he sides with the machines, is he pragmatic, or is he a traitor to his humanity? And what am I saying if he doesn't choose at all? That there's no answer? No way forward? I wanted this story to mean something, to say something, but now it feels shallow, like I'm skimming the surface of a much deeper abyss. Dostoevsky would have torn these characters apart. He'd have shown me Ren's pride, his guilt, his fear. He'd have made me feel Eijiro's desperation, not just to preserve his art, but to preserve himself. But here I am, circling the same questions over and over. Maybe I don't want to answer them. Maybe I can't. Maybe the point of this story isn't to resolve anything, but to wrestle with the contradictions. Yes, that's it. That's what I'll tell myself, at least. But even that feels like a cop-out. The machines will write better stories than this one, won't they? They'll make characters more real, dilemmas more compelling, ideas more profound. They'll create worlds I can't even imagine. So what's the point? What's the point of a story that can't answer its own questions? What's the point of struggling to create when the machines can already do it better? And yet, I can't stop. Maybe that's the answer. Not the story itself, but the struggle to tell it. Maybe Ren doesn't need to choose. Maybe the point is that he keeps questioning, that he keeps creating, even when it feels futile. Yes, that feels closer to true. Not perfect, but close. I'll call this part Echoes of an Artificial Future. What is a story without an ending? A question, perhaps, or a failure, or maybe it's both. I've reached the end, or what should be the end. Ren stands at the edge of something monumental, staring into the abyss of choice. Does he take up Eijiro's tools, shaping the imperfect beauty of human artistry? Or does he step into the future, embracing the machine's relentless precision? But neither path feels right. Eiijiro, this stubborn relic of a man, what is he resisting, really? The machines aren't villains. They're just inevitable. Progress wears no mask, it makes no demands. It simply moves forward, whether we follow or not. And Ren, this apprentice I created to embody the conflict between eras, what does he want? I've written him with admiration for tradition, awe for the machines, and confusion for everything in between. But he doesn't feel like a person anymore. He's a metaphor wearing human skin. Every resolution, I try to write rings hollow. If Ren chooses Eijiro's path, it feels like nostalgia masquerading as heroism. If he sides with the machines, it feels like surrender wrapped in inevitability. And if he does nothing, well, that's not a resolution at all, is it? And then there's the symphony, the so-called Last Symphony. I thought it would be the story's centerpiece, a final act of defiance in a world consumed by precision. But now it feels absurd. What is a symphony anyway? A collection of notes, arranged in time. Whether carved from tradition or conjured by algorithms, it's just sound. And once it's heard, it's gone, leaving only echoes. I wanted this symphony to mean something, to stand as a testament to human creativity, to the things machines could never replicate. But can I even say that with a straight face? Machines are already composing symphonies, beautiful ones that move people to tears. And maybe that's the point. Art isn't sacred. It's a reflection of us, of our limitations, of our flaws and triumphs. A machine's art reflects precision, calculation, perfection. Ours reflects the opposite. But does that make it better? Does it make it worse? Or does it just make it different? I don't know anymore. When I started this story, I thought I was saying something about resilience, about the value of tradition in the face of progress. But somewhere along the way, it became something else. A eulogy, perhaps. Not just for Ijiro and his symphony, but for the very idea of human exceptionalism. And now I'm left with questions I can't answer. Is human creativity inherently valuable? Or is it just a phase, an evolutionary step before machines take over entirely? And if they do, what's left of us? Ijiro's defiance feels futile. Ren's struggle feels artificial. The robot's perfection feels hollow. And me? I feel like I'm staring into a mirror, trying to find something meaningful in my own reflection. But all I see are contradictions circling endlessly, chasing their own tails. Perhaps this story was doomed from the start. Perhaps the questions it asks have no answers. Or perhaps I was foolish to think they needed answers at all. So I stop. I close the notebook, save the file, and sit in silence. The story is unfinished, just like the symphony. And maybe that's the point. Maybe we are unfinished things, constantly revising, constantly questioning. Perhaps it's not the answers that define us, but the act of asking. Yes, that's what I'll tell myself, at least. But even now, as I step away, I wonder if that's just another excuse. Another way to avoid finishing something I wasn't capable of completing. The symphony remains unfinished. And so does this story.